Did Tyler Childers release the album of 2025? Maybe. Do I still hate Rick Rubin? Definitely. The weirdo bearded guru's involvement sucks, but Snipe Hunter scratches every musical itch that I have. I'll do my best not to yell at an imaginary Rick Rubin for the entire video. Tyler Childers, Snipe Hunter. Despite all my apprehension about the current state of country music, the fact that an artist like Tyler Childers not only exists, but has been so embraced gives me hope. Easily the third most important artist in the genre today, behind only Billy Strings and Sturgill Simpson. Billy Strings stands as the unicorn and a true one of one. He toes a pretty traditional music line. Simpson, on the other hand, has been running from Nashville Convention for more than a decade. Childers lies somewhere in the middle. He undoubtedly wears his Kentucky heritage on his sleeve, and even his most adventurous musical excursions reek of nostalgia in a good way. A lot of modern artists that attempt to tap into the various strands of the genre, be it outlaw or a polished 1990s sound, deliver nothing but artifice. Childers brings an endless curiosity to his traditionalism, which is why the Rick Rubin connection drives me nuts. The risk of going off the rails, what exactly does this charlatan bring to the table? One thing I can tell you for sure, don't try to figure it out from his interviews. He drones on and on, speaking in these half-baked spiritual sound bites.
I like the idea of getting the point across with the least amount of information possible. My aim is not to have my presence felt, unless it's necessary, unless it's helpful.
His presence is laid back, literally. He usually listens lying down and barefoot with his eyes shut. You might think he was napping.
So what are you being paid for?
The confidence that I have in my taste and my ability to express what I feel has proven helpful for artists.
More than one artist he's worked with have questioned his contributions, and some have said he barely shows up to the sessions. The only thing Rick Rubin knows how to do is to be Rick Rubin and find his way into rooms where great artists are already creating something interesting. I won't get into the volume debate because I think that's more of a product of the times. A lot of people complain about the volume of the music and how Childers' voice is lost in the mix of the album. Still, the production on this track is an issue. Why'd you do that, Rick Rubin? I can't yell because it's like midnight. My family's asleep upstairs. My wife's probably awake thinking, who's he talking to? Why is he talking about Rick Rubin? Anyway, back to Snipe Hunter. The album really is phenomenal. He's always had something to say, but this feels wider reaching. His writing remains as sharp as ever. His stream of consciousness, melodic sense blows me away. He's not a great singer in the tradition of the genre, your George Joneses of the world. There have been so many great vocal instruments, and he's just not that. Still, the potent stew of his writing, his delivery, and the patina of authenticity on everything that he touches all blend in the most exciting and surprising ways. Bangers just stack up from the jump. Eatin' Big Time, Cuttin' Teeth, Watch Out, Poachers, Snipe Hunt, and Dirty Ot Trill would be career best tracks for 90% of most artists. Onita finally gets an official release, but longtime fans are too invested in a SoundCloud version from nearly a decade ago. His interview with GQ taps into his artistic approach in interesting ways, from his love of Jack Kerouac as a teenager, all the way through how Snipe Hunter was his attempt to fold his entire catalog into itself. You get a sense of who he is and what he's going for. Highly recommend that. That interview is a really good good read. The album's not perfect. Bite and List is fun but a little hollow, and Nose on the Grindstone lives too much on the dour end to really queue up often. Curiously, the latter garnered the first real taste of mainstream country radio play that Childers has seen. And as much as I love the album, not the unquestioned winner of the month, because Ryan Davis and the Roadhouse band New Threats from the Soul was released. And I have to admit, I kind of didn't get it at first. I knew it was good because that jumps out within a few notes. The laid-back vibe and weird monotone vocals had me doubting the power after a full listen. But more than any other album that I've heard on this journey, this requires multiple listens. This has become my most listened to album from 2025 in the past couple days. I needed to because I just was kind of confused. It kind of confused me on the first couple times through, but once it hits, it sticks really hard. The lyrically dense approach and epic track run times creates a moat for new listeners maybe, but especially in, songwriting forward Americana world, you don't typically get this length of song with this compacted, with this crazy amount of lyrical expression. Starting with the lyrical side, don't let the 9-minute runtimes fool you. This is not meant to be Desolation Row, and I don't mean that as a slight, even though it probably sounds that way. The imagery shrugs off literary references or cinematic flourishes for a more plain-spoken stream of consciousness. There are no characters unless you count, Jesus Christ. I guess he's a character. American Gothic lands too reductive, and the pop culture references keep the whole affair from veering into a self-important meltdown. This is long, but the title track has the following passage that I think illustrates perfectly the overall vibe. I was a cactus flower. I had Heisman buzz. Now it's a pissing competition between the man I am and the guy I was. Your sweet nothings are still souring the sheets on the bed and the thread of my clothes as I lie entrenched in my own ignorance and drenched from my head to my toes. They have one other album from 2023, and he used to front Louisville's State Champions band. I'll definitely try to make some headspace for more of his stuff, but I'm having a hard time shaking this album, honestly. The Wildmans, Longtime Friend. Really strong week for Americana. As required by internet music journalism law, I will mention up top that this brother and sister duo studied at the Berklee School of Music. It's discussed every time the band's mentioned, but they do a good job of hiding that level of refinement as this album trends in the traditional bluegrass-tinged world from which they sprung. However, there is a polish to this. Their instrumental prowess supplements the strong songwriting, and the honed sibling harmony vocals really shine. Nothing overpowers, nothing feels try hard. Even an instrumental workout like The Route seeks moments to flex playing abilities rather than an excuse to trade licks. Soloists that consistently demand, watch this solo, get tiresome. This never gets tiresome. Also, I'll give bonus points to anyone that covers the Flying Burrito Brothers. Great cover on this album. Tammy Nielsen's Neon Cowgirl won't be for everyone, but it serves as a good counterpoint to Tyler Childers and just drips with an old Nashville sound. Colemine Records releases the first solo LP from Leroy Conroy, the pseudonym for label head Terry Cole. Buy all the Colemine, all the time. Paul Weller of The Jam released a very solid album, and you need to check out The Jam, I guess. That's a blind spot for me. And again, I know I'm supposed to like Wet Leg. I'll blame it on their Englishness, and I don't hate it, but I think the Full-Throated Love is a little overstated. Disagree? Flame me up in the comments. Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me I'm an idiot. Talk about me being bald or old. All that's fine. Jonathan Richman, as always, is doing Jonathan Richman things. Ben Folds made an album with an orchestra, which makes much more sense than last month's Cypress Hill orchestral movements. For the record, the Ben Folds version doesn't work for me either. Jazz is Dead put out a Dom Salvador release. Check out that label. I talk about it a lot because the story is so cool. Is the music good too? I think so. Vinny Stigma of Agnostic Front put out a country album because that's where old punks go to die. Joe Bonamassa emerges to remind us that guitar stores still exist. Bush released a new album because we are living in a simulation and the lab technicians are cruel, cruel people or aliens or whatever. On a similar note, Dean DeLillo he is the guitarist from the Stone Temple Pilots, has a band called One More Satellite. So that's a thing. A new Styx album. And my only note was, what the actual fuck am I listening to? Someone named Hudson Westbrook put out an album called Texas Forever with a song titled Damn Good Taste in Whiskey. You can't say that title without it being in that accent. Imagine how this sounds in your head. Stop and imagine how this sounds in your head right now. And congratulations, you are 100% correct. Country artist Alex Williams put out an album of chicken fried hair metal. Seriously, he opens with an Ozzy Osbourne song and covers Guns N' Roses, Poison, Motley Crue. Cinderella frontman Tom Kiefer shows up for a run at Nobody's Fool. Doesn't do deep cuts. It's just a country guy singing metal songs, and it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. All right, so that's July. Let's look at the numbers for the year. First, the month. Solid Red, 0. Because country music still has good music and good musicians on it, no matter how corny they try to be. Yellow turning red, 9. Solid yellow, 41. Green turning yellow, 19. Solid green, 1 for a grand total of 70. And for the year, here's the rundown. Solid red, 8 releases. Yellow turning red, 47. Solid yellow, 340. Green turning yellow, 129. And solid green, 16. For a grand total of 541. We are coming down the bend, and we got work to do still. We're going to get there, though. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, find some good music and play it loud.